2017 production budgeting part D. Um, this is a tricky enough part D of this question because they do not, in the question, they do not give you the closing stock value. It says instead in brackets, you are required to calculate the unit cost of budgeted closing stock of both products. That is a separate technique in itself. In some questions, in some of the earlier questions, they just give you the numbers and you just have to do a trading account. But here you have to calculate the numbers, and I want to teach you that through the use of this video. We'll then do the actual part D, which is the trading account. So to find the value of a closing stock, I think I'm going to start at the end here, and I'm going to show you first off the purpose of doing this. This is our trading account, and in here, these figures, the 223 and the 296, that is the closing stock value per unit, the value of one basic product. Let's say this is a wardrobe, one basic wardrobe, one deluxe wardrobe, 223 and 296. But the asterisks here refer to the fact that you have to find this. So I'm going to go down here again, and we're going to look at how you find this thing, this value. So like all, when you're doing this as a whole, and we looked at part C of the question in the last video, you have to take into account your materials and your labor and your variable overheads and your fixed overhead. And this is no different in here. That's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to establish these per unit numbers first, and then we'll have a look at what they mean for each individual wardrobe. So material A, the question tells us that it costs €5 per kilo to buy a piece of material A. I'm basically looking here at the last three pieces of information in the question. Material A costs €5 per kilo. Material B costs €6 per kilo. An hour of labor costs €15 per hour. An hour of variable overheads costs €8 per hour. Now, the fixed overheads are trickier. By definition, they're not expressed per hour, but we need to force them into an hourly rate. So you need to take your fixed overheads and you need to divide by the total amount of hours. Now, the total amount of hours I've done in a little box down here, but it is your basic products, which we know is $17.95 by 4 hours. Gets you this many hours. And the deluxe, which is 1494 by 5 hours, which gives you 7470. Those hours are given to you in the center box where it says the amount of raw materials and skilled labor per unit. Now, when you add these two together, you get 14,650 hours. If you divide that into the fixed overhead for the total company, it will give you this answer here, which is €22 per hour. This you transfer up to here, and now you have a full set of per unit values for materials, labor, variable overheads, and now indeed fixed overhead. Now we just have to look at the basic and the deluxe separately. So with a basic, we know it costs €5 to make of material A to make a basic, and we know that each kilo of material A costs €5, and a basic requires 5 kilos. So it's 5 by 5 is 25. €6 for a kilo of material B, and we know it takes 3 kilos. 6 by 3 is 18. €15 per hour is our wages, and we know it takes 4 hours. 4 by 15 is 60. €8 for our variable overheads to cover those, and we know it takes 4 hours. 8 by 4 is 32. And finally, our fixed overheads are €22 per hour, rent and insurance and rates and all those kind of fixed overheads. And we know that €22 per hour by 4 hours is €88. You add up all of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 components, and you'll find that the cost of making a basic wardrobe is €223. Therefore, you would sell that wardrobe at €300, €350, whatever profit margin you would like to. You do the same process for the deluxe. It's 7 kilos of material A, and 7 by 5 is 35. It's 6 kilos of material B, 6 by 6 is 36. It's 5 hours for the labor, 5 by 15 is 75. It's 5 hours for the variable overhead, 5 by 8 is 40, and it's 5 hours for the fixed overhead. And that gives you a total of 296. When you've got both of these numbers, you really have a lot of the hard work done in this question. Then you just have to go transfer those back up, and now we're going to complete our trading account. So you do your sales. Now, this information is directly from the question. You were told at the very top of the question that you have sold 1,800 basic units, and each one is €260 is your selling price. And there's actually 1,800 by 260. They're not charging 300, like I said, they're charging 260. Not really making a massive profit on that, actually. And then deluxe is 1,500, and that's 1,500 by a selling price of 340. You multiply them both out. Here is your total sales, 978,000. Now our opening stocks. You're told in the question, the second piece of information in the whole question, you are told that the opening stocks are 50 units of basics by 220, which multiply out to 11,000, and 60 units of 290, which is 17,400. You combine them together to get a total opening stock of 28,400. The cost of manufacture, this is the answer to part C. So if I just refer you back up here, look at the bottom of part C there, 840009. That's where you get that number there. You add those two up to get 868,409. And then we're looking at our, I'll just leave that out. Now, then we're looking at our closing stocks. And how do we get that? Well, 45 units, that is a 10% drop on the 50 up here. Closing stock reduced by 10% by our new figure that we have calculated of 223 each, gives you 10,035. And 60 take away 10% gives you 54 by 296 gives you this. You take this from, you add these two together to get your 26,019, which you subtract closing stock to get your cost of sales. And finally, you subtract this from this to get your gross profit. That is how to do a tricky part D, where you have to calculate the closing stock using the first in, first out method. It may well be that you will be asked to do a part D where you are given these rates, and then it makes the question much more doable within the time frame. But hopefully you followed that and you can practice that again with the other questions. Thank you.